What is up, Maniacs? Welcome back to Sound and Pound. It is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. We are your hosts, as always, Drake Riggs and Alex Bahuna, here to bring you the wacky wildness, weirdness, all the goods in the world of mixed martial arts every single week. Apologies for the delay today. I had to update my computer. So that is literally pretty much the reason for our delay, and then organizing. It was just all messed up right off the bat. And I woke up early today, Alex. I woke up at like 9:30, which is extra early for me. So I'm out of it. It just threw me off. The balance of power was thrown off. But how are you doing, my man? We just got done with UFC Vegas 90. What was that? No, St. Louis. See, that's how messed up I am. Derek
What's
Lewis.
up, bro? What the fuck, dude? I mean, come on, dude. You're late. You're late. I mean, you're messing up fight. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm super excited for today's show, though, because specifically for Movie Club, But we do have a lot of things actually happening as we have, we get to talk about our segment Turf War, where we have multiple events at the same time, and we can say which one's better. So we'll do that later on. But it's the same schedule and format as usual. You guys get your questions, comments, concerns in throughout the show. If they don't pertain to what we're talking about at the moment, we'll get to them at the end. Don't you worry. And don't forget, you can like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff throughout this show and all that to all our platforms. But all right, Alex, let's just get right on into it then. Maniacal moment of the week from UFC St. Louis or wherever else you feel. What would you say took the nod in terms of standouts?
I think it's Diego Ferreira. I just the beatdown. He fucked up Rebecca really bad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he ruined a lot of people's parlays, and I think shut a lot of people up. He was the biggest underdog on the card. Rebecca was the biggest favorite on the card. Everybody, I was high on Rebecca. I'm sure everybody else was, and Carlos and Diego Ferreira just kind of proved like, if you don't knock him out in the first round, or just kind of just don't fuck him up in the first two rounds, he's gonna come back and do it, right? And he's done it several times, and he did it, dude. And he put a beat down on this guy, and it was basically a mercy stoppage. Yeah, so I was super impressed. I don't think it's a fraud check. There was a couple of fraud checks on the show, but yes, I don't think this was one. I think it was just kind of like a veteran versus prospect kind of fight. And Rebecca, I mean, he's a big muscular dude. He just blew his load trying to finish Carlos Diego Ferreira, and he didn't. So
yeah, certainly agree with that one. A good shout there. And for me, I have one in the cage one and then one outside of the cage one this week. So first, I will just say, before getting to the comments, here's people throwing in some good ones. But Carlos Olberg, I mean, Jesus Christ, I did not expect that fight to go as quickly or as ridiculously as it was.
Being the best looking male fighter is the best base in all of MMA.
That's the new best base. But my God, Alonzo Menafield, in a way, gave that to him with that incredible degree of aggression, running face first nearly into the punches. But for Olberg to capitalize on it fairly, effortlessly and properly the way that he did, big win for him. Guy has legit power. He's always pretty fun to watch. So I'm excited to see what they do with him next. I mean, that's one of those cases where no damage. He could fight this week if he wanted to, but that's obviously not happening. So shouts to Carlos Olberg. Yes, a very handsome man in not just the light heavyweight division, but the whole sport, right, Alex? Rain says, no clever pun today as we celebrate Derek St. Louis. That's a good one. That was perfect. And the Ned Flanders of lowering UFC's standards as we get on the parliamentary procedure of this podcast politely. Well, that is well done to kick us off, Rain. We appreciate you. Good to see you, my man. Coach Greg is here. Says, I really thought the UFC card this weekend was great. I don't understand why so many people say bad things about cards overall. I love this sport, but people are making a joke of it, and that upsets me. Well, to be fair, a lot of the cards typically aren't good, especially the Apex ones. But I mean, I like the energy in St. Louis. Alex, the crowd seemed pretty good. And yeah, I think it was the worst card that we've gotten lately. But yeah, I mean, again, and I'll say this every time that we get out of the Apex, anytime we're out of the Apex, it's automatically better. Like, I'm sorry. I know that you live there and it takes away from you going to the shows, man. But the
1000%.
energy.
It does. It bro. Fighting is a crowd sport, and without the crowd, it's just dull. And yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Yes, for sure. So we'll have to wait until after this week, next week for that to happen again. But we do have that Paris show also in Bellator. Ghost is here. Says, my maniacal moment is not the state of MMA media, but the fact that I get more engagement trashing shill riders, which takes 10 seconds of thought, than my analysis on fighters. So I'm kind of surprised you didn't bring this up, Alex, already by yourself. I mean, not that we need to give shine to the state of the media in St. Louis, but that was a thing.
You know, it's just, and her question would have been fine. Her question would have been fine if she just asked about the PBR. But it's the fact as it is, bro. Because she said in her like little response video, like, Dana doesn't answer questions at the PBR. It's the only time you get him. He doesn't really do one-on-one interviews.
There was logic. There was good logic.
Yeah, 1000%. If you're covering the PBR, it's a perfect chance to ask him about the PBR. But it's the fact that you went and said, I want to get branded for clout. And you said the word clout. If you said, can Cowboy brand me like a little throw, like little, you want to like little knee slapper? All right, fine, I'll give it to you. But the fact that you said I want it for clout just completely degrade
away everything.
And then you come out and just like it's just a shit show, dude. It's just a fucking complete mockery of what it's, dude. It's very hard to get UFC credentials, and to like you get credentials on a small St. Louis show that no big media really went except for Oscar Willis, right? So like there wasn't a lot of media there, and then you kind of like make a mockery of yourself by doing that, and then kind of like double down on it the next day when someone calls you out on it. Like, just admit you're wrong, like
take the L.
Take the L. Like it's okay to take an L sometimes, dude. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Admitting you're wrong is not a bad thing. It's actually kind of a respectful thing.
Very healthy, yeah. It's actually great for you.
Yeah. So it's just a fucking I mean,
one of the worst kind of posts dealing with or just everything we've seen in a while.
1000%. It was just
don't know the person, didn't hear about her or know if she was before. I'm sure she's a nice fine person and all, but yeah, that was a rough approach there to everything involved was not ideal.
And then to like double down on it was even worse, like,
and I saw some people mention this last thing real quick, but like Ariel didn't even clip that. Like, she was saying that Ariel clipped it. That was Jedi Goodman's account. He does all the clips all the time, and he just responded to it. Ariel didn't make it. So that was hilarious.
Another L.
Yeah, another one there. An easy miss, I guess. But yeah, Rio is here. Says, how about Menifield's running face first into the fence? Indeed, that's the one I mentioned. And Ghost pretty much calling on X, even though he was joking. Did Ghost predict that to happen? If he did, then my goodness, he can see the future, I guess. But, yeah. Jersey says, I have a maniacal moment that might be different from everyone else since I work as a real estate agent. I find it insane that the UFC is getting site fees from cities. So cities who pay the UFC to go to the city will pay the UFC with tax dollars. Your money is not being used to fix the bad infrastructure in the city, but it's being used to bring the city to UFC to town, and I still have to pay $492 tickets. To me, that's crazy.
Well, brother, I gotta tell you, the UFC, right, as of today, it is a traveling circus. It is a traveling fight circus. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and they're traveling to cities that will pay them to go to, and I mean they found a way to do it, and cities will pay for it. So until the city's saying, like Hawaii's not going to pay the UFC to go there, so they're not going to Hawaii, you know? So, like, until the city says, nah, we're good. You know?
Yeah, there you have it. But I'm glad you mentioned that, Jersey, because, yeah, that was kind of a talk, this morning or last night with the Denver stuff, which is, yeah, its own thing, too. And Synchro bringing up the guy who asked to sign the cup. That also happened. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on in fucking St. Louis, but nothing great backstage. Oh, my
it's
goodness.
St. Louis. It's St. Louis. What the fuck do you expect, you know?
Yeah, good point. Fair enough. Hey, Randy Orton was there. But he's actually from there, though, I think so. Oh, goodness. Yeah, very, very crazy. So, all right. For my maniacal moment of the week, which went down yesterday, I got to give myself a pat on the back for my excellent reporting. This journey I've been covering with this whole saga of Rampage Jackson versus Shannon Briggs, which I won't go into too much detail of how this is the case here, Alex, but I mean, I guess I can share. I can pull back the curtain a little bit, but essentially, this is all my fault that the fight got canceled. Okay. I want to say that because a couple months ago, when I discovered the kind of situation, the allegations that were happening against the promoters, QSM World, with them allegedly defrauding concerts, pretending that they were working with or putting on a show with Drake and Travis Scott, who are not small names, mind you. So I don't know how they thought they'd get away with that one. I put that out there, and so eventually, let's just say if I didn't do that, it probably wouldn't have been seen by, let's say, Rampage Jackson and those others who were involved in the event, not just him, but other fighters, yada, yada. So the fight is off because obviously this thing looks like it was never going to happen in the first place, because in 2021, was it two? One of those 2 years. I have to look at my notes here. They tried to do the same thing with a boxing event where they were doing this. I mean, there's been practically no promotion for it anyway, so there's red flag number one. But in 2021, they were trying to do the same thing with a boxing event, and then got to this point where, oh, just didn't happen. Sorry. We got our money from the investors, bounced out. Allegedly, again, let me put all this allegedly, these claims, but there's no proof of these things happening. So there you have that. And this saga with the promoter, they've been coming to me since 2022 anyways, to the point that I'm fine sharing this, but in 2022, they wanted me to do a whole bunch of boxing interviews and stuff, like right when I joined with MMA Mania, to the point where I had to block him because he wouldn't stop messaging me. So there is that kind of thing, which is a very scammy type thing to do in any type of life, any walk of life, anything at all. But essentially, yes, there was supposed to be a press conference a couple weeks ago in Qatar. Reason for it was apparently because Ramadan. Well, if that's the case, why didn't you schedule it during Ramadan? But there's apparently no rules regarding music festivals or things like that, which was given as the excuse to why it couldn't happen. No rules other than, they're drinking and eating rules about the holiday. So it just doesn't make sense regardless. And it was at the very end of Ramadan. Said the press conference was going to be rescheduled. Didn't happen because the fighters have pulled out and the fight is not happening. The event, who knows if they try to say it's still happening, but doubt it, because it never was gonna in the first place. And again, that part can't confirm to say like, oh, for sure it was never gonna happen. But you look at all the evidence that we have put out there now on MMAnia.com. You can find it there in the article from yesterday. But it's just kind of the thing about this, why it's all crazy to me, Alex, and I, wanted to put it out there, is because how do we keep having these things happen in MMA? Where we've had fight cards happen before where fighters have fully fought and not gotten paid. Battlefield FC is kind of the big one of the last so many years in South Korea, right? Jesse Jess, Will Brooks, so many decent name fighters were on that one. There was a couple. There was a handful. Those are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. But like, to get so close to that thing happening again, like, dude, can people just do minimal research, please? Please.
Because MMA and combat sports is still the wild, wild west.
Yeah,
MMA is by far like that's for what the Wild Wild West, and it's very very hard to make a profit on the show. At least boxing, there's money behind it, but MMA is just it's the Wild Wild West.
yeah, and it's crazy. I think again because it's not a team sport, I guess that makes it easier, right? Because of the individualism, less people looking and tracking things. I don't know. It's still just an insane thing. So that event was supposed to go down June 8th. So we'll see what kind of silliness might happen from here to then. We haven't heard anything from the main eventers yet, but yeah, they haven't mentioned the concept of fighting each other in like a month or so. So there you go. And no, James, we will not mention that person because why would we? Jimmy says the Briggs versus Rampage thing was weird all around. Thank you for covering it, not using ChatGPT to write like the people. Well, I didn't. I need to read these before I put them up there because I didn't think you were going to call out that website, even though. Whatever. What fucking ever. I didn't say it. But yeah, Jimmy, you're welcome. I've only used ChatGPT to make like funny things to send my friends. I promise.
I still don't even know what Chat GDP is to be honest with you.
So you've seen how Twitter has the Grok thing right now?
No, I don't even know what that is either.
Okay. I was gonna say it's pretty much that, but okay.
Yeah, I clicked on it and I clicked out of it because I didn't know what the fuck they were trying to tell me. So no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just AI that will write stuff for you pretty much. If you ask it questions, yada yada. Pretty much like, yeah, written Alexa. I don't know. Fucking is what it is.
Basically what's going to take writers' jobs in the near future.
Yeah, essentially what will eventually overtake us. Raynil Urge here asking, what did you think of Buckley's call out of Connor? But in the
probably the worst of all time, to be honest with you. It's
so dumb.
I mean, I have to really go back and rank the worst call outs of all time, but it's got to be top 3 for sure. I mean, especially because like you're in your hometown, you pick up this big win, everybody's behind you, and then you call out Conor McGregor, which you know you will never get that fight. And you could just hear it just the fans were booing you, bro. Like, take a fucking hint. I couldn't believe it, dude. Like, you had the entire way. You call out Colby Covington, call out Ian Gary, call out Gilbert Burns, call out whoever in your division. Right. You would have got fucking strawberries fed to you while you were
leaving,
leaving, dude. Like, and you call it Conor McGregor, dude. Like, come on.
And this comes just after a month or two that we had Caio Bahayo, who fought last week, calling out DDP. So that was a bad one as well.
It's pretty bad too,
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say I can't believe that happened because it's Joaquin Buckley and he's kind of silly.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, he called Budweiser. I mean, it's like, bro, like you have one job after your fight. Just just make it. Like, I understand you're an entertainer. You want to make it entertaining, but like, there's
right. Be up there a little bit more before you get that crazy with things.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Oh man. Yes. Do I send Alex ChatGPT text all the time?
I wouldn't doubt it because it's perfect grammar. I wouldn't doubt it.
That's my signal. I just have it do it for me. Oh goodness. Oh, Synchro with the great point though. The worst call outs of all time are Beneil Dariush every time he wins.
Yeah. Those are pretty corny.
That's pretty good shout there, Synchro. But all right, we'll move on from the maniacal moment of the week to the underrated moment of the week, Alex. I think we got actually, first off, before we fully segue here, I mean, it goes kind of in between. What did you think of last week? Whenever we get the chance to make fun of the robbery shouts to things that aren't robberies, it's fair. But how did you feel about Ricci versus Pennington? Because I honestly, I'm not sure exactly how I scored it, but I kind of feel like 3-0 for Tisha, honestly.
I don't think I think I scored at 29-28 Tisha. It's another thing where it's like, do you take grappling, do you take damage, do you take grappling over significant strikes.
By definition, damage though. Like that's
Right.
in the
Yeah.
rules.
I know 1000%, but it's what the judges are fucking judging on,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And
yeah,
I
I
will
know.
say this every single time Missouri is mentioned, worst athletic state commission across the board, hands down. If you've watched any Invicta event, you know what I'm talking about. But they are the worst of the worst, bottom of the barrel when it comes to judging. They just don't fucking get it. So
Yeah, no,
I didn't agree with
1000%.
that one
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I didn't agree with it either. I think Tisha beat Tabitha. I thought she definitely beat Mackenzie Dern. Like that's a more egregious decision than this last one.
Yeah.
So it sucks for Tisha.
Big bummer for her for sure. Yeah, Rio says Tisha versus Dern is robbery of every year. For Ounce of Freedom says he had a 29-28 for Tisha as well. That seemed like the common scorecard there, either direction. Yes. So, all right, underrated moment though. Who do we got, Alex? I guess I'll throw mine out there first because, goddamn, Chase Hooper's really growing up, my man. He's really growing up. This guy is he the consensus winner for the underrated moment?
Yeah, I was gonna say Chase. The other one I was just gonna say my boy Robles displaying got fraud checked bad. Got
That's
wrestle
on
fucked.
Rivovich though. He also killed a man.
Yeah, and he didn't get 50K. He also made Sports Center top 10. Didn't get 50K. I don't know what, like, I just don't like you give Carlos Ulberg a bonus, but you don't give Rivovich a bonus. Like,
Let's see. They went CDF and Carlos. Yeah, I think Carlos and Ribovich easy, probably.
1000%. 1000%. Yeah. But yeah. So Robles, I mean, I said it last week. I said it last time. Well, I don't like watching Waldo fight at all. And he continues. Like, he could have finished Robles easily. He just throw a little bit of ground and pound, and
It's painful.
like just a little bit of ground and pound, and
Sprinkle
that,
it in.
just a little bit, and the referee would have jumped in because Robles was doing absolutely 0% anything to try and get off his back. So fuck off. And then so yeah, but Chase Hooper, dude. I mean, I think he's a mythical fighter at lightweight until further notice.
Oh boy.
Dude. I saw a lot of people bet Chase Hooper. And I think, and I was like, I had a feeling Slav was just going to kind of piece him up because I can't get the Steve Garcia fight out of my head. It's like burned into my brain.
Totally.
But I thought, Slav is very bad at grappling, and Chase is very good at grappling. So, like, there's an easy way for Chase to do it. But for Chase to drop Slava Claus and then just fucking dominate him on the ground like that, dude, like worse than we've ever seen.
His head changed shapes, Alex.
Man, it was very impressive. And I have to eat shit because, like, for a long time I was the one that said, like, Chase Hooper should not be in the UFC right now. He should be back in LFA.
I think we all did, really.
Like, dude, like, he's like taking years off his life and learning at the highest level. And boy, he shut all of us up because, dude, he's turned a corner. And I mean, it was a classic UFC 1 striker versus grappler matchup, and you just beat the shit out of a striker.
Did the thing.
Yeah. So bravo.
Yeah. Big ups to Chase Hooper. He's very quickly becoming, very intriguing to see, like, where his career goes from here, and looking like, there's a chance for him to, I guess, go somewhere quicker than we all thought, like you said. So he's always been a fun one to watch, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons, but now he's killing it right now. So yeah, big props to Chase. I'm curious when he will start to look like a grown man, but until then, we wait. Jen asking, I asked this before, why is that a fraud check on Robelis? He says, do we have to change the definition of fraud check again? Well, because he, had all the type 37 seconds of combined fight time in his 4 fights prior. It was a fight that he very well should have won, and he was landing early on there. It looked like there was a chance he was going to do the same exact thing right out the gate. But then just gets completely exposed against the guy who, like Alex just said, didn't do shit offensively on the ground. He held him.
Yeah,
He
and he was
straight up held him.
completely gassed. Like that round 2, when he like hit Waldo, it literally looked like he was just fucking like just throwing.
Doink.
Yeah, just doing. It was
Noodles.
like he was gone. So not only did we learn he has 0 grappling, he has literally 1 round of in him. So
it was perfect definition of fraud checkery. Yeah. I mean, like when he had the career that he's had, it builds up perfectly for this kind of unfortunate moment for him. And fucking talking about the titles before this was a mistake. But like even just the way he approached, even on the feet, just 0 guard, right? Like his hands were completely low. He was just showed us kind of that he's gonna get fucking knocked out like in his next fight, probably. Like you see that. I have just lost all hope in him, which sucks.
And the heavyweight division is shit again.
Yep, there it is. There it is. Oh, Rainiel asking us about it. How do we delineate what a robbery is? Is a close fight a robbery, or is a fight that has a clear winner a robbery? The latter, not the first. No, close fights are not robberies.
A robbery to me is where a fighter has clearly won 3 rounds in a 3-round fight, or has clearly won 4 rounds of a 5-round fight. Clearly, and they lose. Like that's the robbery to me. Like if a 29-28 goes either way, like it's a close fight, dude. Like it is what it is. I think a robbery to me is you lose 3 rounds, you win 3 rounds in everybody's eyes.
Yeah,
and you lose that fight.
Right. So yeah, the number one example, probably the worst of all time, Ross Pearson, Diego Sanchez, of course. You said the 28-9-28 thing though, and I was going to say, well, what about in the case though where someone just completely fucks up that person in those 2 rounds, and then they lose slightly in the 3rd round, clearly, but not dominated. If they dominate the fuck out of the person, then they lose for some reason.
I mean, but that's like kind of like you're looking at Cheeto Vera versus Rob Font, right? Where Rob Font beat up Cheeto for 4 minutes of every single round, and then gets dropped in the last round. And
that's a good point.
Did the most damage, right? So it's like,
yeah, for sure. But either way, point is close fights are not robberies, right? No, I'm ashamed to even ask that.
When we see, it's going to be so funny when we see a clear robbery in the next, whenever it happens, people are going to go on social media and be like, "That was a close fight."
Yeah,
that was that was not a robbery. That was a close fight. Watch. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
1,000%. Clip this and it's going to happen.
Oh man, it's wild out there. But all right, on that note, we will move along back to everyone's favorite Apex for the Mania main line. Not fully though, because we do have Bellator Paris as well. We got a great crowd over there, so we do have these 2 shows, and there's also Road to the UFC this week kicking off, right? So there are things happening all over the globe. But for you, Mr. Behunin in particular, what are we injecting? What are you loving out of the cards this week all across the board?
I'm most excited to watch Patchy Mix fight. He's main eventing the Bellator card. It's a rematch. Don't necessarily think it was Magomedov deserved a
more to
rematch.
See Patchy, yes,
1,000%. It's kind of like a spotlight for Patchy, and the fact that there's literally no one in that division for him to fight right now. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for the return of Adrian Yanez, even though this is a tailor-made fight for him to get a first-round knockout, and for him to come back. So I'm excited for a first-round knockout. Bet that. And one that's really fascinating to me is my guy Thimba versus my guy Ramirez. Yep. I don't like this fight because I
bittersweet.
I'm buddies with both of them, but there's like a, Ramirez is coming off of a nasty like spinal injury.
Shameless plug it. Plug it.
And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there is a story on MMA Mania that I wrote about it. It's pretty good. You should read it. Wink, wink, wink. Read it. But yeah, so he's coming in off of a 2-year layoff against Thimba, who, looked great in his last fight. against Pete Rodriguez, who is not UFC caliber, right? So I think it's fascinating to me because we're going to see who the better grappler is. I kind of think Ramirez is the better grappler. I think we've seen more from him. So it's just one of those style matchups. And if both guys are going to grapple, maybe we see kickboxing fight. So that fight is really interesting to me. And yeah, my guy Tuco Tokos is making his UFC debut on short notice against Umar Sy. So yeah, there's plenty of like really little bites on the Vegas 92 card that I'm looking forward to. But other than that, it's whew,
Pretty barren.
rough.
Yes, yeah. So some good mentions there. I also am very intrigued by Themba versus Brahimaj there. Just after Themba's last fight, I'm very excited to see him back. And then of course with what Ramiz had to go through, that will be a good one. On that card specifically, I'll just throw out Vidal versus Gatto because again, Melissa Gatto was supposed to see a couple of weeks ago. It's more for her. It's more for her. Okay. Honestly, for Melissa Gatto, who I'll be talking about again here momentarily. But yes, bummed that we didn't get to see her sooner, but happy that fingers crossed was here now. And then Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro is also happening, which big one for Luana to kind of what she's shaking off the going to try and shake off the stank of that Amanda Hebos loss, the wheel kick from
Angela
last
Hill by
November.
split decision, baby.
Oh boy, it's usually the other way. She loses the splits.
She's gonna win a split decision this time.
Angela Hill, I think 39 now. Kind of crazy, but I feel like she hasn't fought in a while. Which I was looking at this recently. Let me see when her last fight was specifically, because she's always so active. But
I think she beat Denise Gomez.
no, yeah, last November. Yeah, so. Small break for Angie Overkill, who's always a fun volume striker. Of course, yeah, she matches with Luana. This is very clearly a fight where Luana should use that great judo of hers, get to the ground, submit Angela Hill, which should, in theory, not be much of a problem, despite Angela, getting better defensively over the course of her career and surviving Mackenzie Dern.
Angela Hill's gonna box that Luana Pinheiro.
I mean, if it gets out of the first round, I think that's very possible for sure. Because Luana slowed down significantly against Hebos, but that's why I'm intrigued by that one. So that one gets a shout for me.
Did you see that Emily DeCoey's at minus 350 over Vanessa Demopoulos?
I did not. That's very surprising. I agree with her. I agree with her being the favorite, but that's wild odds. That's fucking very wild. I wonder why. They know something? Do they know something?
Dude, I think she even started as like minus 400, and then Melissa Gatto was like also like a minus 350 favorite. Like there's some big favorites.
Well, yeah, I agree more with the Gatto one there, but yeah, that's wild. I don't know. Maybe they're doing MA math with I don't know, the Kanako fights and all that shit, even though really Kanako beat both of them realistically. But yeah, so there's that. Those are my ones for Vegas 92, really. And then over on Bellator Paris, though, Mentor Barnauri against Ryzen Zone, Yusuke Yauchi. Kind of a weird crossover fight to be happening on this card, but it is. Yauchi, of course, known for his crazy striking style, but in the past year or so, past so many fights, really improved his grappling and kind of went away from his entertaining style, which is a bummer. But Barnawi, a very, very talented grappler. So in all reality, he should probably find a way to submit Yauchi, but Yauchi's gotten a lot better on the ground, so that makes it intriguing. And just a big dude at lightweight. They both are. So I think anywhere that fight goes is going to be very exciting. But as for the main events, Alex, we both agree Patchy Mick's going to get the job done again against Magomed. It's just kind of a matter of how. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down kind of the same way as the first one. What are you feeling?
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely going to tap him, but I wouldn't. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Patchy knocks this guy out, dude. His striking is really developing fastly, and it's like very sneaky. So I don't know. It's just Patchy via finish. It's not going 5 rounds.
Yeah, totally agree there. And Jimmy, real quick, saying Mansur Barnawi is the only fighter to sweep Islam Makhachev. That was in a grappling match, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, because obviously, I don't think they fought in MMA unless I'm missed that one. Let me double check you real quick. But I know I've seen like the clip of that. I just can't remember. Oh, they did fight in MMA actually. That was in M1 in 2013. All right. So there you have it. Yeah. Impressive. Not a win, but impressive nonetheless to do that. Shows you how talented he is. Yes, thank you, Jimmy. Synchro says PFL should drop all the Bellator in its name. Yeah, we've talked about that a bit. I'm assuming that's going to happen next year, really, but we'll see. So, all right. Then as for the UFC Vegas 92 main event, though, Edson Barboza still going strong, Alex. The guy just I was thinking about this the other day. He's fighting Lerone Murphy, but I was thinking about this, I think like fucking yesterday. It really is just insane to think about Edson Barboza's career, right? Because he's one of those guys who I think we use the term legend way too loosely, especially nowadays, as kind of we get more time in MMA, but I wouldn't say he's a legend, but he's been such a strong and consistent guy for pretty much like my whole fandom, right? Like going back to like 2009, and his like level, his quality in skill and just resume and everything he does has maintained the same, which that's a knock and compliment at the same time, right? To be at the spot he's at, but never quite, gotten to the big one because he hasn't evolved or changed too much, but he's always been so fucking strong at his striking, his technique, all that. Always fun to watch. I guess what I'm trying to say is the level of consistency he's kept for such a long time deserves a badge of honor, especially you see the last
he's
fight
a legend, bro. Are you saying that he's not a legend or that he is a legend?
I'm saying he's not, but he's a legendary contender. I don't know. Not a legendary legend. I don't know. Either way.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's wild to think about. So I was just having that moment. And now again, here he is. He's here. That's, I guess, let's segue to this. Like, he's a gatekeeper, right? Like, we don't see Edson Barboza fighting for a title. Just, it's never been a thing.
But yeah, but I don't even know if he's a gatekeeper.
High-end gatekeeper. An elite gatekeeper. Like, I guess, yeah. He's a great test. If you can beat him, if Lerone Murphy beats him, this is his step-up fight, right? We look at this matchup. Lerone Murphy on a tear right now, doing great, never lost, right?
But he's like also 38 years old, so it's like I don't know if he's a gatekeeper. I think he's just like a fucking legend in the sport that's like fighting still, that like
kind of like RDA at featherweight.
Basically, yeah, 1000%. I don't think RDA is a gatekeeper either. I think he's just doesn't want to retire. He just wants to keep fighting.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's why it's weird with them, I think, is kind of the whole crux of what I'm saying. But either way, this is easily Lerone Murphy's biggest fight yet. Pretty decent step up in competition. I haven't been super sold on him, Alex. I know some people are pretty high on his potential and whatnot. Like, he's good, but again, when I see fucking Edson Barboza do the shit he just did at Sodiq, I'm like, well, good luck, man. Do you believe in Lerone Murphy? That's the question. Who wins this?
I did for a little bit, and then his fight against Gabriel Santos, which he lost that fight, really like cooled me down a little bit. I think this fight's going to be actually pretty similar to the Sadiq fight. I think Lerone's going to piece up Edson for like the first round, maybe second round, and then I think Edson's veteranness and his just Edson Barboza. I think he's going to Edson Barboza this. Yeah, and he's going to come back and he's going to win a win decisions. Probably another close decision, but I think I'm picking Edson Barboza via maybe split decision. I just don't see Lerone finishing Edson Barboza. But maybe, like, he is 38 years old. He's been knocked out before. He's been on losing streaks before. It only takes one, so who knows,
That's what we felt the first round last time, though. You say all that, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. And then, oh shit, he survives for another 20 minutes,
Yeah, 1000%.
I can't count him out after that one. Like, that performance was such a big like reigniting in my belief, I guess, of Barboza in these types of matchups. So, and I mean, we just know the versatility of his toolbox, always phenomenal. His fucking kicks wherever they're going, low, high, midsection, they're just devastating. Yeah, I think he's gonna do what he does best, unless
Yeah.
Lerone can, pressure him, smother him. That's the thing. That's the way to beat
Yeah,
Edson
I think
Barboza.
obviously if Laurent's going to win this fight, he's going to take Edson down, keep him there, and finish him that way.
Yeah. So we know the keys to victory there. It's just fucking way harder to implement them than people obviously realize. So yeah, I'm gonna take Edson, but I think unanimous. I think he'll get it pretty clearly if he doesn't finish with a wheel kick, because he'll land it on you. It's just a matter of if he can survive. And Sodiq somehow survived one as well, but he always finds a way, man. He always finds a way. Rainiel asking, is being a gatekeeper a knock on someone's career? So I'm glad you asked this, because I do hate to call people that. I know I just did it, but like it is because a gatekeeper is a guy. It's kind of both, right? Because if you are in that spot to where, yeah, you're
Neil
known.
Magny is the gatekeeper,
Yes,
and
the goat keeper.
he's admitted it several times. He doesn't mind being called it.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it kind of depends on the person, right? But
Yeah.
essentially, gatekeepers don't win titles. They're not going to be the very best. So they're a good fighter, right? They're a great test for the new guys. That's their pretty much job and their role in the division. Which, like Alex said, just fucking look at Neil Magny's career, and there you go. And Rio asking, would we consider someone like Dan Ige a gatekeeper? Not so much.
I would. I think Callum Cater is more of a gatekeeper than Dan Ige.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're pretty similar, but I might agree with that. If you don't change your game and beat him, you're not considered good, and he will beat all the lower talents. Yeah, yeah, I think those are good mentions there. Jimmy says veteraness is a nice word I will use from now on. There you go, some lingo for you. Oh, here's another good one. If Edson's a gatekeeper, what do we consider Francisco Trinaldo? I bet you guys don't know who that is. Of course we do. Yeah, El Tractor.
I would call him a ex-UFC fighter.
And he was kind of like fringe gatekeeper anyways. It was kind of like, he was like right on the top 15 line at best. I always enjoyed him. I mean, he was on a great run there for a long time, Alex. He had like 7 in a row. He beat Paul Felder, didn't he?
That was his last win before losing to Kevin Lee.
Right. Yeah. Trinaldo's like, we're in some Trinaldo love in here. Didn't expect that today. Yes, the turtle. All right. Well, that will wrap up Mania Mainline. But you guys, it is a special week though, because whenever we get Turf War, it's a special week. So head-to-head action with UFC Vegas 92 and Bellator Paris. Who has the better card, or who has the better card, and which one are you more interested in, Alex? We have to kind of separate the questions there, right?
I mean, if you go main event versus main event, co-main event versus co-main event.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think Bellator wins that.
Yes, for sure.
Then you go down the line on like which one has better fights,
Mm-hmm.
like more interesting fights. I can say that I am excited for Thimba versus Brahima.
This is pretty close, actually.
Right? I mean, then there's like certain fighters that I'm looking forward to. Like, I want to see Giannis. I want to see how Tom Nolan bounces back. I want to see my boy Tuco. You know what I'm saying? So like individual fighters on there.
Right.
Or like, and then Bellator, Archie Colgan.
Yep.
There's a number one contender fight in the middleweight division. Slim, Mansour, Aspen Ladd. If you're on the Aspen Ladd, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna say Bellator is the better.
No, I completely agree. I think it wins all the categories.
Plus they're in Paris, and
that's a boost. Yeah,
the
Doumbé show in the co-main event.
Yep.
And a good test for him with Jaleel Willis, like kind of fucking maybe too big. We're gonna see here. This could be
Jalil's legit, dude. He's good.
Yeah, so that's going to be very interesting to see how he handles that, and in front of that crowd is going to be super awesome. And less fights on the card too, so that's always that's kind of nice when you can breeze by, hopefully. But yeah, I think Bellator wins this one pretty handily. And it's almost not fair again because of Apex versus Paris, but there you go. Oh shit, Alvin has returned. Good to be back. Good to see you, man. Always hope you've been well and all good, Alvin. We've definitely missed you during the movie club, which I'm very excited to get to here today. But before we do get there, we got to take a trip on over to Spotlightville, Alex. Let's look at some prospects. All right, who gets the Alex seal of approval this week?
So I mean, I gotta pat myself on the back. Manshir Kira goes out there, gets a first round submission in the main event of Fury FC. I mean, he has to get. He has. The only problem is he's a little older. He's like 30, 32, 33. And but Dana has invited, or the matchmakers has invited older fighters on the contender series. So he might get that. He might get a call up. I don't know, but I mean, if the UFC wants to, get a little Indian fan base, he's a perfect candidate.
Yep.
So good job, Alex. Oh, thanks, dude.
I need a clapping sound effect on here.
Right. So I'm going to LFA 184, and there's a couple fighters that I'm kind of keeping my eye on. Ozzy Diaz is back. It's his first fight back since losing to Joe Pyfer on the contender series. And Javier Reyes is fighting Chase Gibson, and Javier Reyes is just he's an interesting fighter. He comes from Combate, got out of that contract. Now he's fighting LFA. He's on a seven fight win streak. And he's from Colombia. So, a Latin fighter that on a win streak, probably UFC probably has his eyes on it. So that one, and then John Paul. I always forget how to say his last name, so I'm not going to try. But JPL is I always say, but JPL is fighting Victor Cooks, and should be a good one. So LFA, it's in California, the Commerce Casino. There's a lot of fights on there that are interesting. Also Gilbert Nakatani. So yep.
I love the way you say Nakatani. Just a fun last name. But all right, there we have it. And before I share mine, Ghost here's got to ask, how hyped is Alex for Cody Steele to be on DWCS? I met him at Syndicate, and he's quite large as a welterweight, and apparently the best base for carrying people is suplexing people in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't hurt.
I'm very hyped. The kid is legit, and the more that he develops his striking, kid's gonna be a fucking problem. So I'm very excited. Very excited for the more bigger fan base to actually see who he is.
Right. And he was in Spotlightville a while back, wasn't he? He's already got on this segment.
I mean, come on, dude. Oh my god,
listen to him.
I ain't no fucking punk. Listen to me, bro. Come on.
He's gonna be leaving us for Fight Pass soon, you guys.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, come on. Yeah, dude. I mean, just listen to me.
I know. Oh man. All right. Then as for me, again, I'm just gonna rinse and repeat because, like I said, Melissa Gatto is fighting again. She was in Spotlightville a couple weeks ago as well, but she is coming back, looking to snap this 2-fight losing streak that she got on in some close fights with Tracy Cortez and Ariane Lipsky, or De Silva now, if you will. But before that, Melissa Gatto is looking phenomenal to start off her UFC career. Still very young too. I mean, not super duper young, but 28. So still a lot of potential there at flyweight. And again, she goes from her fight that she just had, lost out on, to this could, should be a good showcase fight for her. So can really highlight the skills against Tamira's Vidal in this one. Who Vidal, if you guys remember me saying, I think it was on WM Mania, has one of the weirdest fights I've ever seen when she fought Aylin Perez. If you haven't seen that fight and you want a weird time, go watch that fight. But it's fucking weird. So don't if you want good MMA, but if you want weird MMA, go ahead. So shouts to Melissa Gatto. Very excited to see her back. And then I'm just gonna throw the name out here because Alex threw her at me last night. So Yasmin Najira is fighting this week. She is taking on Juliana Yvet at UWC 53. Just 3-1 right now, but 26 years old, looking like a good talent at 125 pounds again, out of Mexico, as she has relocated to Las Vegas, per Alex's information, taking things serious.
Keep your eye on her. She's coming.
So, yes, pretty good fighter there. And then, of course, I got to give some shine to an old friend of mine, Shi Ming, who is competing in Road to UFC. What date is that on? That is on Saturday as well. What that'll be like right after over there in the Shanghai PI, taking on So Yi Dam, who was in the, last season's Road to UFC or whatever. She lost to Josephine Knudsen, but now Shi Ming is here, sticking with strawweight. As she's been bouncing back and forth between there and atomweight throughout her career, but I mean, she's taking kind of the options she can get. So very excited to see her get this opportunity. She's always been a good prospect from China that I've had my eye on. So we'll see how she does and if she can make it to the UFC now.
We also got Scott Coker's new.
Yes. Yeah. Fight Night at the Tech is happening this weekend. Yeah. And they're doing like multiple combat sports. And shout out and shameless plug to another friend of the show, Jessie Jess, competing. She is taking on Patty Lee in her second professional Muay Thai bout. Shameless plug. Of course, you can see that interview here on the channel and on the website. Of course, always great times with Jessie. But yeah, that'll be a fun show. I think on Fight Pass. You know what that is airing on, Alex? Is OnlyFans? It's on something.
I don't know if it's streaming on anything. I was looking last night. I couldn't find where it's being streamed. It might just be like an event.
I think it is being streamed on something because I saw her do some posts the other day. But yeah, maybe we'll check Jessie's. I can just fucking ask her too. So I'll find out about that. Should have done it when I caught up with her, but yeah.
Fucking up.
I know. But yes, James says Melissa Gatto like Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, poor Joe. Missed that
poor Joe. But all right, that will wrap up Spotlightville, and we will now head on over to the Drelex Movie Club. No spoilers this week, which kind of sucks, Alex. We'll have to talk spoilers afterward, but this week, you guys, we went and saw the brand new film Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I'm kind of bummed that I saw this on Thursday as early as possible because I've just been waiting and just marinating, brewing to talk about this fucking movie because let's just get right into it, Alex. I fucking loved this. This was the best Planet of the Apes movie yet. I think it was the best of the previous three of the four. So goddamn good. Borderline perfect. But I'm going to give it a 9.5 right here for you. And I'll tell you why off the air because it's spoilery enough to where I won't say. But world looked insane. Visually, the CGI gets better every fucking movie. I mean, geez. Give me some of your thoughts and I'll continue. But
yeah, no, I mean it was excellent, man. And saw it last night, $5 IMAX. Dude, you know, they could have easily tried to like make it 10 years after Caesar and kind of like made Caesar a big plot point of the movie. And they didn't. It's 300 years after Caesar. So, like, you don't even have to watch the previous trilogy to even know what's going on, which is
I love that about it, too, because like I told you with the trilogy, I feel like you could watch all of them and be fine. Of course, it makes them better to have seen them. But, like, in a vacuum, all the movies are great.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, it was excellent. It's hard to, like, not talk about the movie with spoilers, but I will say this. Like, there's a point in the movie where, like you're sitting there in watching the movie and you're like contemplating, like, dude, do I root for these fucking monkeys or do I root for the human race? Like, like, what do I do? Right? Like, you're sitting there and I'm like, I mean, I feel like the human race we kind of fucked ourselves and we deserve this. And so the apes should just make their world. Right. So, I thought that the villain, Proximus Caesar, he was excellent.
I love Kevin Durant, man.
Dude, he's such a every movie that he's a villain in, he's just conniving. I hate him so much. And this one was no different. And it was great, man. And yeah, I thought the storyline was good. The movie was basically 2.5 hours, and it moved. Yeah, it moved. And I was kind of afraid that they were gonna like really rely on like the humans aspect, kind of like how they do it in Transformers, where like they follow a human storyline instead of focusing on what we want to watch robots. I guess we want to watch apes in these movies. We don't want to watch humans, and they did it very, very well. So I like Noah. And it's like hard to like compare, like, because Caesar was with me for three movies, right? So it's like I'm not as attached as I am to Noah that I was to Caesar, but like I feel like I'll get there. And they set up the next. It says that there's supposed to be basically 5 more movies after this, so it's going to be a nine movie.
See, that's a problem for me, man. Just end it fucking here. Like, don't ruin a good thing, which I'm not necessarily thinking they will, but like John Wick. It's all great. Let's just stop though. Let's stop while we're ahead.
I disagree, because I think there's so much they can do. I think they can set up the humans coming back for the planet, but also there is the original Planet of the Apes, where they come from space, and I think that's maybe what they're kind of
going for.
Maybe. So so great movie. It's like a solid 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. So fucking great. Really, really enjoyed this one. I loved, like you mentioned Noah there. I think he was maybe one of the weaker characters, actually. Like, he wasn't bad, but everyone else stood out a lot more to me than him. Like, I liked him and all that stuff, but I think that's more of a compliment to the surrounding cast and the characters that were working with it. Like Freya Allen, I thought she was great as May. As we mentioned, Kevin Durant.
I think Raka
was
that's the standout character in the whole entire movie.
Yeah,
like, just by far the best character in the movie.
And we didn't get enough of him, that's for sure. I love the contrast too, but like between him and Noah, so that was great as they were kind of dealing with meeting May.
1000%, and it's also like the fact that there's no attachment to Caesar, but his teachings, and like now that he's like this religious figure, that like the apes are taking what he stood for and twisting it, right? Like it's kind of like the old game where like you stand in a circle and you talk to you tell somebody a story and it goes around the circle.
The telephone.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like that, except it's 300 years, and the apes are taking what Caesar believed in and kind of twisting it, right? So it's very, very fascinating.
That's exactly what I put on my notes. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Very, very spot on. I mean, this was just a great old time. I definitely highly, even if haven't seen any other ones, this totally works on its own, which I think is kind of some of the beauty of it. Just a fucking great ass time. And as I like to throw out my little cameo mentions, we did get a Deacon Lockman appearance in this movie. She was Miss Casey in Severance, if you know that reference, but I gotta throw them out there. So good to see her. But I mean, this was a blast. I already want to watch it again, Alex. I really liked this one, so it was fucking great. I'm glad that we led up to it like this. So
it was great. I still hold on to Planet of the Apes as my number one. It's so iconic, but this one's like right underneath it.
Yeah. And they all have their different feels again. Like I said that at the end of the trilogy, but they just they've done such a great job with making these feel different but the same, and that's the best compliment I think I could give there. But awesome stuff. So definitely check it out, you guys, as we move on to what we got this week. And I know that I'm in the middle of the Blade Runners, right, Alex? Is that where you're going to go with me?
No, honestly, I feel I don't even remember if I've asked if you've watched this on the movie club or if I asked you, but have you seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Yes, I saw that in theaters right when it came out.
All right, so then we're gonna watch the Furiosa in 2 weeks, or next. Right. It's next weekend, so that's gonna be next week's movie club.
So, is Late Night with the Devil streaming now?
It is. I watched it. I watched
Oh,
it.
you beat me
I
to
watched
it.
it. I already watched it. I watched it. I
Quick
watched it this
recap.
weekend.
Let's throw it in here.
Hmm.
No, really.
Yeah. I thought it was kind
Okay.
of. I thought it was pretty corny.
Ah, damn.
It wasn't scary at all.
Strong trailer, poor execution.
Yeah, I appreciate the what they were going for, the style, the story. It just did not hit for me. It was kind of
Damn.
like kind of a letdown.
All right. Interesting. Well, that makes me, curious to see it and not see
Yeah,
it now. But
yeah.
all
No,
right, yeah.
and I was really looking forward to it, and yeah, it was kind of like we finished watching. And we're like, yeah,
You're like, damn it, that
yeah,
wasn't as great as we thought.
yeah.
Um, I also saw one that we didn't do in movie club, but was a mention because you saw it also outside of movie club. But I saw the Iron Claw this week as well.
Ooh,
Man, the ending of that ending scene is so sad.
dude,
It
it
kills you.
fucking just takes a dagger to your heart, bro. Oh,
Oh, man.
I used to have brothers too, or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I used to be a brother too. Woo,
Oh,
woo,
man.
woo. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I already knew the Von Erich story pretty decently before that movie, so it's just like seeing how they kind of told stuff was very interesting, but it's just so like mind-bogglingly tragic, like it's
yeah.
the shit that they went through. Um, insane, and that's one too where wrestling or not type of fan. Um, you can watch that one. But I will say, Alex, though, I understand the complaints about Ric Flair because he was fucking awful. It was fucking awful. That was. I don't know
Who,
how you could have picked such a bad fucking
who,
person.
who's choosing to use the movie for fucking for
I
7
know, but
seconds? Who
like it
cares?
was so bad though. It was so like easily, I think the worst part of the movie. Like terrible.
I even forgot he was in the movie. Who
There you
fucking
go.
cares?
Oh man. Yeah, Rio says, "Can we call it Dre Likes Movie Club? Which iconic movie Drake has not seen yet?" Segment. I mean, it's that most of the time.
True.
Oh boy, but okay, yeah, we have our set for next week, but we got to figure out this week now. I kind of want to do another keep kind of these double watches going, Alex. And I saw a recommendation in the horror genre this week from The Godfather, Stephen King. For this movie called The Coffee Table. Have you heard of this or seen it?
I've already seen it.
How was it?
I mean, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah. Well, never mind. I was trying to catch you off guard with that one. But okay, well, give me mine first, and I'll look through my list here.
Um, there's like 3 that I don't know which. Like, do I go with like a fun movie, a iconic movie? You know what? I'm gonna. Have you seen Phone Booth with Colin Farrell?
I think so. That's the one where he's like in a phone booth, right? Okay. I was like, I know I have seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
movie's pretty trippy though.
It's like one thing. All right, American Gangster by Denzel Washington.
No, I actually haven't seen that one. So
There you go.
that fits the bill
One.
there for what Rio was saying, because I know that's a good one up there. All right, there we have it, American Gangster. Now I'm pretty sure you fucking have seen this one, but I'm gonna just throw it out there just to make sure. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, a
Yes,
classic.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm making sure on that one. All right, then I will throw at you one of my Sion Sono films again, just to get this out of the way because my list needs some updating. But Tag from 2015, Japanese movie. I'm sure you haven't seen it, so I will give you that one. I think it might be on Prime or something too. But yes, so there you go. It's I'll say this about it real quick. It's one of those movies where, like, for me, it was an anticipation, like, oh god, kind of throughout. So it's a good old Good old fun Japanese time.
Oh, fucking joy.
Oh, joy. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. But okay. Rio says, there it is. The movie Drake hasn't seen, American Gangster, is an all time classic. I know. And I love Denzel too, so shame on me for that one. Twice in the movie club, right? All right. Well, that'll wrap up the movie club this week, you guys, and we will close out now on your questions throughout the show that we might have missed. Yes, I love Training Day. I think it's just as good, if not better. He's saying Denzel's just as good, if not better, in American History. That's a high bar, or pretty good praise there. Comparison, Ghost. We'll see how I feel next week, and we'll wait to ask Alex about that next week too. But Denzel, he just don't miss. So, all right. Jin asked earlier for Drake, Alex, and Ghost, how do you guys keep your love for the sport of MMA when it gets worse every week? Bad cards, bad media, bad promoter.
So for me, and it's like it's even worse for me because like I know behind the scenes, I know all the shit that goes behind the scenes that fans don't know. Like it is pretty nasty. But for me, if I keep the sport about the fighters, all about the fighters, because without the fighters, there is no sport. That's what keeps me going. Like if I just kind of focus on the fighters, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I think honestly that's pretty much the same for me because it is a struggle. It's a struggle to keep the love at this point. I'm not gonna lie. I am probably the least interested I've ever been in MMA at this point in my fandom, which yeah, it's very sad to say, but it's tough. It's tough. So yeah, when you kind of focus on the positives as much as possible, that's the way to go. And we try our best with that. Huan Zhang is here. Says, hi, does ESPN Plus crash sometimes? I have Migu from China, which is inexpensive, but what do you do when it crashes?
Scream at the TV.
Yeah, right. Very rarely. I usually don't have too many crash issues.
I have like buffer issues.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. I know some people been getting real fucked lately. Like I know that Luke Thomas, shout out to him because he put it out there, but he said he couldn't even watch 301. Like it robbed him pretty much. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's rough.
Like, jeez. So I'm sure he wasn't the only one that happened to, but I've never had that kind of thing happen. But that is scary because they're not cheap, and especially for 301, I feel real bad for him. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Rio asking, can we discuss Mark Ratner trying to lowball one by saying that they will not go to Colorado because they Section 1 rules? Like you tagged, you tagged me out there. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said on my my Sifu stream, the Sifu play last Friday on my personal channel, I just don't like. UFC has nothing to fear in terms of competition with one championship, Alex. Like, so for them to Mark Ratner or whomever to make these claims or threats about not going to Colorado or some shit because one they're allowing them makes zero sense to me. Like I don't understand what the point of that was or what that was. Aside from some kind of money thing, maybe, as Rio says, him lowballing there, which I'd have to reread that tweet again. But like the UFC's not afraid or about competing with one. That's the point. So it's a very odd thing, very confusing, and I should pull that up real quick now before we continue. As Ghost says, do you guys like that Carlos Ulberg has found the cheat code for 205, the hook off the jab, in a division where you don't have to be good at MMA? Because it turns out all you need is left hook at 205. Look at Alex Ferreira, for example. So I'll segue this for you, Alex, while I pull up the tweet. But as of right now, how far do you think Carlos Ulberg can go? And who should he fight next? We'll do both of those.
I threw out that he should fight Johnny Walker.
Oh, I like
but then
that.
but Johnny Walker's booked for Saudi Arabia. I think you do Alexander Rakic, and I think if he beats Alexander Rakic, he has a good chance to like really do some damage in the division.
Yeah.
Because Rakic is he's just a tough. He can wrestle, he can strike, he can make it boring, he can cage clinch you. He's got it all. He's got it all.
And he looks great until he got
Yeah.
knocked out again.
Yeah,
Like he looks
exactly.
fucking
So
awesome.
I think if you beat someone like Rakic, then like, all right, we can really talk to this guy about a title contender, and maybe he's doing this for revenge for Izzy, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I like all of that right there. But back on, well, this actually tied in perfectly because Ghost says Rio mentioned Mark Ratner. What exactly does he do for the UFC? Saw him at a buffet in Vegas talking to all the ladies who will listen. You're airing him out. You're exposing him here, Ghost, at the buffet. Even that is really funny. But he's Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, right, Alex? I think that is the official title there. He's like in the UFC Hall of Fame now. He's been around forever. He used to be a commissioner, I think, in Nevada, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So now he is with UFC. Oh yeah, it says right here actually. Yeah, VP of Regulatory Affairs. So kind of a very interesting career he's had. Obviously a very important one for the sport. But I have the quotes and stuff right here now regarding the Colorado thing, which was in July, Colorado approved one championships rules, which include the use of knees to a grounded opponent, which not only baffled Ratner, but prompted a response of caution to the state's regulators, where he said, I would tell the world that we, the UFC, are not going there. Ratner said about Colorado's decision to allow head stomps in competition, which wasn't even the case there. So he was kind of saying that to something that wasn't. It was knees to a grounded opponent, not stomps. I would tell the governor that we would love to come to Colorado, but you have to have the right rules. So I'm against that. There's no reason to have those rules. I don't understand why they would do that. But like, you don't have to use them, bro. That doesn't mean you have to do that, obviously. And now they're going back. So weird, fucking very weird situation. There must have been some kind of personal thing between them or whatnot, or he misheard, because like this says right here, he said he was baffled by head stomps being allowed, but they're not allowed. It's knees to a grounded opponent. So there's a big difference there. They should all be allowed as far as I'm concerned, but there's specifics here. So very odd situation. And I kind of would love to hear like some further info on or about that. But who knows? Maybe I'll have to do some digging. Maybe I can get in touch with the buffet boy now. That's okay. That's his nickname. Oh man. Let's see. Fronts of Freedom says only ESPN Plus I've had was when I buy pay-per-view, they just try to sell it to me again. That is true. They do that every time. I still get the emails, even though I have it. Go says Rakic is a prime example of trying to be good at MMA at light heavyweight, but by doing that, it's somehow disadvantaged. I mean, once, really, just once. But I guess you're not wrong. Because yeah, Rakic, he's great. He's really talented. So looking forward to seeing him back. But you guys can look forward to seeing us back next week. Boom! What about that segue, Alex? Oh,
at least you didn't freeze.
Yeah, at least I didn't freeze this time. I'm getting a drop on my connection though, so that's just the timing as it's going back up a little bit. But anyway, thanks so much as always, you guys, to tuning in each and every week. We appreciate you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss when we go live here on all of MMAnia.com's social platforms, and follow the site. We have a daily newsletter, which I always forget about because I have an ad blocker. You can do that so that you get our articles and stories sent to your email too, and you don't miss a goddamn thing. So do that if you don't want to miss the goods. But as for shameless plugs, you guys, we mentioned the Ramiz Brahimaj story that Alex dropped just yesterday. I also released my interview with Jessie Jess, catching up with her, of course, before her Muay Thai out this weekend at Fight Night at the Tech on the 18th in San Jose, I believe is where it is at. Always great times with Jessie. And then on Thursday, I'll be dropping my interview with Karine Silva, who, of course, got that win over Ariane Lipski, her first decision win of her career. My goodness, she's just couldn't put away the no longer violence queen, but it was still a good performance. Great chatting with her. Some good stories. Kind of a surprising story about how she got into MMA, actually, which is kind of the highlight of that one. So look forward to it, you guys. Karina Silva, just the sweetest flyweight on the planet, maybe. But anyway, Alex, any other plugs that you got coming, my man?
Yeah, just reading my story about Ramiz. It was a pretty good one. I have some bits. Coming out Friday. I will be at Media Day tomorrow, so coverage will be there. And I think that's it for me.
All right. Then, on that note, you guys enjoy UFC Vegas 92, Bellator Paris, Road to UFC if you're going to watch it, and all the other crazy things going on in MMA. And we will see you next week. Next time, same time, Tuesday, all that good stuff. Peace, you guys.